We're back. Welcome back to season 2 of the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. I'm Jared Judy, and Todd Corley's over there. He's a little heavy on the hand there, but did you get a jump start already?
Yeah, I've been training for my 4x400 relay team. I just got moved into the anchor spot. A couple of guys on the squad had a little bit of a problem there.
Was it the hammy? Because it seems like hammies are pretty common these days.
Yeah, it was. Well, actually, like I said, I'm running the anchor. Got right ahead of me is Christian Watson. Then I got J.K. Dobbins, and starting us off is going to be Aaron Rodgers. But I got a real good feeling about this season. I think we got this.
Well, we'll see. If you're new to the show, we kind of go through some highlights, lowlights, a little bit of everything, and then we have a little bit of fun we throw in there as well. Usually it gets a little carried away towards the end, but hey, we get we get some fun in there. We get some football. Occasionally we'll talk some fantasy stuff here a little bit later on. Once we get the rosters a little bit more secure, we'll talk about some nice bets that we think that we like. But right now we'll start off with the cheers of the week. Whoa, is that full or empty?
We're fancy this year, folks. This year we're moving on to Bibb and Tucker. I got some 6-year small batch bourbon.
Well, is that who was the sponsor that you were trying to get last year? Who was that?
They're dead to me. I don't even remember.
1800.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you say so. I didn't stop drinking. I was gonna say if you say so. All right, so we'll start off with our cheers of the week here. For the poll of the week we put out, it's fantastic to finally have football back. It feels like it's been an awful long time, but it is finally back. Week 1's in the books, and so for the cheers of the week poll, with week 1 in the books, who had the best showing of the week? The options were Detroit versus Kansas City, San Francisco versus Pittsburgh, Dallas versus I don't know, the youth JV, the youth JV cheerleading team of the New York Giants. I don't know.
Football Giants.
Yeah. And then we had Green Bay I threw in there just because of the new regime. But honorable mentions, we had the Dog Pound.
Throw Green Bay in there, you bastard. You didn't put a fucking Cleveland in there who beat the shit out of a Super Bowl contender.
I have them as the honorable mention, and I also have the Dolphins and the Chargers in there as well for honorable mentions. But as of right now, the poll is ended. We have 17% for Detroit, San Francisco 17%, and Dallas obviously was kind of a runaway with 67%. That's not really a shocker. I honestly thought it would have been 100% in my opinion, but that's just me. But
and then, hold on, what percentage did Green Bay get? Did they get the same completion percentage as Aaron Rodgers?
No, they got the same amount of points put up as the Giants.
That's right, fucking 0.
And so yeah, there's that. But as far as I didn't vote in the poll, obviously, because it's our poll. But if I was going to vote, I would have went with Dallas as well, because when you basically have to do very little on offense, the team you're playing literally cannot do anything. They can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball. They can barely punt the ball. They can't kick field goals. It tends to be a pretty good day in your favor. So for my cheers of the week, I went with Dallas.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Jared, because for my cheers of the week, I went to that state up north. I went with Detroit because fucking Campbell is up there eating fucking dinosaur eggs for breakfast.
You just still
Super Bowl, baby.
You just still have your what do you want to call it? You still have your grievances with Travis Kelce. You have your grievances with Travis Kelce in the one game where he scored 3 touchdowns and like 12 yards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, fuck them. But I was actually really impressed by Detroit. So, Lions fans?
Well, with that being said, we'll jump off on some of the top games of the week, and we can kind of go through these recaps here and break down some injury news. There's been plenty of it. Breaking news, anything that kind of comes to mind with some of these games as we bring them up. But since you brought up the Lions, we'll start there. Lions take down the Chiefs 21-20. I'll get your thoughts, but I don't know if this was if it was really telling, because everyone's going to jump on board and say, oh, well, Chris Jones, their best defensive guy, was in a suite eating nachos. Kelsey wasn't on the field. Obviously, you can't dispute that. But, I mean, the Lions, by all means, Jared Goff's not a world beater. He's not an MVP candidate. But
he's no Baker
Mayfield. Well, geez, good Lord, that bar's pretty low. But anyway, he's a good game manager, and he played fairly decent. But, hey, what's this saying in the NFL? You don't make the schedule. You just line up and play who's across from you. They did that. I'm not going to say that, they're the next Super Bowl champs, but I was very surprised and not all that impressed with Kansas City as a whole. And I think it definitely speaks volumes that whenever Kelsey's back on the field, he's getting every ball in that situation. Because if he would have been out there, darn well down that last couple drives when, Pat Mahomes was throwing to everybody but the peanut vendor, and everybody was dropping the ball, Kelsey wouldn't have been dropping those balls. So it probably would have had a different turnout had 87 been on the field, but he wasn't. Lions get the win. I don't know. It just seems like if this happens later in the year, they could be in trouble, because it doesn't seem like either there's the confidence with their receivers or they're not on the same page or something. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, here's what I think, Jared. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Who won the Super Bowl last year, Jared?
Well, I know it wasn't the Detroit Lions. I'll put it that way.
True. Who was it though?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure it was Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, that's right. The Chiefs, right? He works for the Chiefs. So to follow up your little old saying that they have, to be the best, would you say you have to beat the best?
I would say
did the
yes.
Lions just beat the best?
But did they beat the best? Did they beat the best? Did they beat the best? Because you don't want to.
Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't beat the Kansas City Kelseys. They didn't beat the Kansas City Joneses.
But here's the thing:
fucking Kansas City Chiefs.
What you want to do,
Lions.
what you want to,
buddy.
What you want to do is you want to beat the team at their best to avoid all those discussions, because then you can say, hey, there's no asterisk next to it. We beat them straight up. And that's going to be the talk of the town. Same thing it was when Peyton Manning was out for the Colts or the Broncos, or Rodgers was out at Green Bay or whoever. Well, they weren't full strength. That's going to be the building argument. It is what it is. But I will say, I think the Lions, as much as it pains me to say, they're going to be a very good shot to win that division. And we'll touch on that here later.
Jesus Christ, dude. They're going to win the NFC, buddy.
Well, that's
tell you better hope they don't meet each other in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you right now, just because old Cleveland Heights boy had a hyperextended knee, he didn't tear an ACL, he didn't tear an MCL, he hyperextended his little knee. Zeus is an old bastard. Detroit won the game. They beat the Super Bowl champs. We'll get to this a little bit later, but as far as Super Bowl goes and the division goes, I don't know. I think there's a couple other teams out there in the NFC that might have a say. Now, granted, the list isn't long in the NFC, but we'll see. But don't you take away anything from the Lions?
They do that themselves. We'll see. But anyway, we'll move on to another couple teams in that division, and we'll touch base here real quick. The whole news of the offseason, if you've been living under a rock, or you have no access to technology or to the outside world, the Packers, yes, Dalvin Cook left the Vikings, yes, and he teamed up with his buddy, the AFC East Packers. Aaron Rodgers was traded away from Green Bay to the Jets, and he brought along with him a laundry list of fellow Packers. At one point, Tim Boyle, Billy Turner, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Malik Taylor, all from Green Bay. And then, as Todd suggested, Dalvin Cook also joined in the party. So
the party. He's the best player of the whole list.
yes. So there's plenty going on
He's
there.
the main course, baby. You're listing off appetizers.
There's been plenty of talk about, the tides have changed in that division. Now that Aaron Rodgers is out of the division, it's a free for all. It's up for grabs, which that's a very good possibility. With that being said, it was Jordan Love's first game, and being a Packers fan, I loved every minute of beating the crap out of the Bears yet again. Well, we don't have to dive too much into this. Love looked okay. He looked pretty darn good. But then again, the Bears are trash. So that's kind of hard to match up where you actually play. Justin Fields looked horrible. The run game was awful. Their defense was awful. Like they just when you throw screen passes all day long and you're down by 3 touchdowns, there's not a lot of positivity in that. But regardless, Packers looked pretty decent. We'll see how that fares next week against Atlanta. A little tougher challenge. But to get to your wheelhouse here, speaking of Super Bowl, we had your Browns just beating the dog shit, no pun intended, out of the Bengals, 24-3. If I understood right, I didn't. Let me look real quick. Yeah, horrible. The Super Bowl runner-up quarterback, 14 of 31, 82 yards. 82. Not 282, not 382, just 82. Less than 100 yards and 2 sacks, no touchdowns for Joe Burrow. So I don't. I mean, I think they'll get it.
I think stayed in Columbus, baby.
I think they'll get it.
To Baton Rouge. You should have stayed in C-Bus.
I'll put it this way. I think eventually they'll get it figured out. But here's the thing. If Cleveland can stay on this type of consistency, there's no reason they shouldn't be a good contender for that division because they have they have literally no competition in that division. We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later. We'll get to it a little bit later here. But the Steelers are horrible. The Ravens are a shell of what they were. You got the Bengals number. There's no reason why the Browns shouldn't run away with the division. Now it's up to them to not shoot themselves in the foot. We'll see how that goes later in the year. But when Myles Garrett is standing over top of you at center and he's just showing you he's going to do some basketball crossovers.
Over there doing fucking hell yeah, baby. He's over there doing his AI impression.
He's over here basically practicing the move that he's going to pull on you in 3 seconds, telling you exactly what's going to happen, and you still get beat. I can't help you. I can't help you. But let me ask you this. What did you think of Watson? I didn't watch the game. I didn't have a vested interest, but what did you think of Watson? He went 16 of 29, 154, touchdown, interception, and 3 sacks.
To be totally honest, disappointed. He saved the day a little bit with some of his rushing. He got it done with his legs. His accuracy was off. He was underthrowing receivers. I know the weather conditions weren't optimal. He didn't look crisp. I personally wasn't impressed, honestly.
Was he better?
Impressed last year at all. Personally, I'm concerned, but I know the talent's there, the swagger's there. He can only get better.
Well, they're not going to, for the price they paid for him, they're kind of stuck with him, even if they don't think he's going to be the long-term fix because they're not going to dump him. I mean, that's a crap load of money to just kick to the curb.
No, he's it. He's what we got. He's who we brought to the ball. We're not leaving with another chick. He's our guy.
But he's better honestly, with another year under his belt as far as an off season and stuff like that. Does it seem like he improved from where he was?
Yeah, not a lot from last season. Not enough.
Not
enough. I wasn't impressed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to bullshit you and say, "Oh God, he's the best." No, he didn't look good. He missed He missed the 2 turnovers on the other side of the 50. I mean, that game could have been more lopsided. He missed a handful of throws. Honestly, I'm disappointed. It could have been worse.
And here's the thing. and it's been this way ever since he's got to town. Cleveland's calling card, and for the life of me, I cannot figure it out because apparently it seems like Stefanski hates the guy. Your calling card every single game does not need to be in Watson's hands. Give it to Chubb, run the wheels off of Chubb, and make the team stop you. When they prove they can stop at, and you got to move away from the run game, then put it in Watson's hands. Otherwise, run the clock, run the team down, and just pound it down their throats. Because I have not watched a lot of Browns football. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a Cleveland fan. But from what I've seen, it's kind of hard to stop the guy. He's a freaking train. So why do you not use him as much as possible? I mean, what do you have to lose? You've already paid the guy. He's the face of your franchise. Use him. I don't understand it.
He averaged damn near 6 yards per carry week one.
Yeah. I mean,
he's an absolute stud. You know, honestly, in my opinion, he's the best running back in the NFL, in my opinion. You can say McCaffrey, whoever, Eckler, whatever. Nick Chubb is the best running back in the NFL, in my opinion.
I would say as a true, legit downhill running back, number one. I would say as a utility versatile back, probably maybe number 2 or 3. I would say Christian McCaffrey is a little bit more versatile in the way he runs, but he doesn't run like Nick Chubb. He's more of a scat, flashy back. He's not as big as Chubb. Chubb is the guy you give the ball to at 3rd and 1, and you pound it down their throat, and you line back up, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. And I don't know how many times I've seen highlights where Browns have been leading, and they would still keep it in their quarterback's hands, passing it all over the field. Like, no, you're ahead, give it to Chubb, run the ball. Like, I don't get it.
I think a lot of that before and even yesteryear was just Stefanski trying to show that Baker Mayfield wasn't the guy, which is why they were throwing it so much when he was here. But
I mean, the guy went
back that's squatting 675 and just averaging damn near 6 yards a carry. Dude, Nick Chubb.
I mean, the guy had 18 carries for 106 yards. I don't understand in any book why you're not feeding him. That's silly, in my opinion. I just don't get it.
Yeah, although losing confidence for the season sort of did just kick him in the balls.
Well, I will say, if the Browns use Chubb as much as humanly possible and use Watson as sparingly if they have to, there's no reason they shouldn't be a 8, 10, 12-win team, especially in this division. There's no reason. There's no excuse for it. The Steelers finally have fell off. The Ravens are a shell of themselves. And for whatever reason, I don't understand it, but they have Joe Burrow and the Bengals number. There's no excuse. There's no reason for it. You guys have a great roster. It's just a matter of them executing. We'll see. But moving on to another, I don't know that I want to use the word contender, but participant in the AFC North Division. Yeah, more or less. The 49ers just ragdolled the crap out of the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-7. And that score, the only reason I'm saying as a participant is because they look like the fifth team in that division. They're horrible.
Steelers.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about my 49ers, my NFC champion 49ers.
They can't be a participant if they're beating the living shit out of everybody and they're winning that division. That's just a little sneak peek. But anyway, let's just be honest. The Steelers, they only got beat 30-7, but that score looked like it was about 90-7. And the fact that you have TJ Watt, who is literally your entire team right now. Kenny Pickett's just a guy. He's not a Hall of Fame world beater. You really don't have anybody on the offense. I mean, Deontay Johnson was useless last year. He's already hurt again this year. Najee Harris is a flash in the pan.
Overrated.
He had an okay rookie season, but he's been kind of a flash in the pan since. He had potential, and he's just nothing now.
Dude. Don't sugarcoat it. That motherfucker is the most overrated running back in the NFL.
He is. Their offensive line is a shell of what it used to be now that all their Hall of Famers have retired. I mean, they have no real weapons as far as receiver. In my opinion, on the offensive side of the ball, their best target is Freiermuth, and that's really it, in my opinion.
I
But
agree.
but when you have T.J. Watt, who's basically now the face of your franchise, getting 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and you still get beat by more than 3 touchdowns, it's going to be a long day. But I mean, literally, let's be honest. San Francisco didn't have to play that hard, and they looked like Super Bowl champions compared to the Steelers. Like they just looked they look like they're playing a different game. Like it was unreal. Literally, San Francisco could do no wrong. Literally, San Francisco could do no wrong. And I know we were watching some highlights on another show here to not be named, but Ayuk caught 2 touchdowns, I believe.
Yeah,
and then he had a monster block for Christian McCaffrey touchdown. Just laid the guy out. I mean, Ayuk looks like on a warpath now for possibly the best offensive player. I mean, it's just unreal. That team is just a juggernaut. And Brock Purdy had Purdy came
on fire.
Brock Purdy came right back to Big Cock Brock came right back to where he ended off last year.
Full erection.
Picked right back up. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to stop them if they're playing like that. I mean,
I'll tell you who. The goddamn Detroit Lions.
Well, I don't. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know about that, but we'll see. But yeah, I watched it. That game was disgusting. It was a dumpster. But moving on here, Rams and Seahawks. Definitely did not see that one coming. We'll get a little bit into the bets, later on once we kind of get some more stability in the rosters. But I definitely lost a few bets on that one. I definitely did not see Geno Smith tanking and being completely useless. Didn't see that one coming. The Rams with basically 0 weapons except for Cam Akers and now Kupp being out. What do you want to say? Name the guy. I know you want to name him.
Are you kidding me? It's not even Kool-Aid anymore. It's Puka Nakua juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kidding me? Puka Nakua, baby.
Yeah, I bet you.
Every fantasy site on the fucking planet for the past 2 weeks. Well, thanks for maybe 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yeah, exactly.
Puka Nakua, which is exactly why half of this show added his ass before kickoff on week 1.
And exactly. And since we brought that up, I will reiterate the exact comments from other people in our fantasy league. Is that a real guy?
He's the real number 1 fucking waiver wire this week.
Exactly. But I definitely did not see that. I didn't see that happening. That's for sure. I kind of expected with the year that Geno had last year, I expected him to put up a lot more points than that. I expected him to be more relevant than that. That's blurry as hell. I can't see shit.
God damn it, you're drunk.
I'm not drunk. Your camera sync sucks. I see who you're showing me. Yes, I got it.
Owner.
I don't know. Let's put it this way. They had the exact same yardage, him and Atwell, but Atwell had 4 less targets. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of Cooper Kupp at this point. It seems like he's a hamstring down every single year. There's issues going on. I don't know what his long-term
less targets. That's like comparing fucking Tupac and 50 Cent, motherfucker. One of them's alive and one of them ain't. Come on, baby.
One of them had 6 catches for 119, and one of them had 10. Oh my God, get off of him.
Puka Nakua is fucking performing at Super Bowl halftime shows.
Hey, just
Tupac, listen to me, motherfucker. Tutu Atwell is fucking dead, baby.
answer me this. When did you become the
targets? Shut the fuck out of Tutu Atwell. He's dead as shit, bitch. Fucking Puka Nacua is live and well.
Hey,
cheers,
when did you?
Here's to 2024. Another beer.
When did you become the president of the Nacua fan club? I didn't realize you were the president.
45 minutes before kickoff, when that motherfucker became the number one fucking shit in the NFL. That 6'4" motherfucking Pacific Islander is the best thing that happened in the NFL since fucking Baker Mayfield's small ass hands in the fucking Cheesecake Factory warehouse fucking waitress that blew in the parking lot.
You know what? We'll see how well he fares when he goes up against San Francisco. That'll be a challenge.
Because
clearly
Detroit, I would give you some more respect. But since you brought San Francisco into it,
yeah. Well, since Todd seems to be the president of the fan club here, I just didn't realize that Seattle took that far of a drop from last year. Like, Geno looked horrible, and speaking from fantasy purposes, he did me no good. But I just
119 yards receiving.
It's disgusting.
God damn.
Yeah.
Puka na motherfucking Kua. That's fucking Hawaiian for fuck you, Jared.
I should have never brought this game up. Good Lord.
You did this
oh boy. All right.
God damn it. 6 foot fucking 2. I'm actually taller than Puka.
All right. Well, before you get too hard, let's move on to another game.
Dude, I'm in the fucking emergency department. I've had an erection for fucking 6 days.
Yeah, since the kickoff of the Rams and Seattle game.
This is real, dude. This is real.
So, oh God. Anyway, so we'll go to another game. I don't think I've ever seen such a disgusting display of football, because I don't know what the hell it was, but it definitely wasn't NFL football. Dallas and the Giants. I don't know if the Giants knew that the coin flip still happened or what, but I've never seen such a lopsided, one-sided game in my life. I get it. The weather was bad. The field was shitty, but holy crap. Did they forget how to play? Like, Dallas was playing in the same game.
Daniel Jones had that fake little rubber pellets all over his face. He was probably
he had something on his face. I'll tell you that much.
Micah Parsons' cock. To be totally honest, probably.
Yeah, more than once.
Oh, I haven't seen anything that bad since Parsons at Penn State raping that other fucking safety.
I don't.
Hashtag too soon.
I just don't. Jerry Sandusky. I just don't get it. Wait, are we talking about Penn State or Northwestern? It's irrelevant. Anyway,
State at this point.
Anyone in the Big Ten, apparently.
Yeesh.
But, I mean, Dak Prescott, the offense really didn't have a blowout game. Like, it really was not an offensive game for them. It was the lack of efficiency, the lack of talent, the lack of whatever the heck you want to call it on the offensive side of the Giants. Like, literally, I feel like the Giants offense was on the field majority of the time. I swear every time I looked up at the TV, it was Daniel Jones getting his ass planted every single game or every single play. I mean, Dak Prescott went 13 of 24, 143 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and no sacks. But he hardly had the ball because the defense was beating the shit out of Daniel Jones the entire freaking game. And every time you look up, it's another defensive touchdown. I mean, I've never seen such a lopsided, one-sided game that I can remember in a long time, probably since Tom Brady's. I know we referenced it last season. What game was that? Was that Tennessee or Buffalo? I think it was Buffalo, when it was 60-something to 3 in the blizzard. Like, I've never seen something that dominant. And prime time to bat. Like, that was bad. That was real bad. But I think we can all agree that the Giants will be the bottom of that division. That division is not going to be kind to them because I think they're going to get steamrolled if they play like that every single week by anybody in that division.
Bottoms need spanked.
But to round out the primetime games, again, if you don't have access to technology and you live under a rock, Buffalo Bills played the Jets. It's true. You could easily take a nap at any point. Buffalo Bills played the New York Jets in the Meadowlands on the 9/11 anniversary.
That was a good game, man.
And the game started with promise. It's a new regime for the Jets. They got all their ducks in a row. They're ready to go make a run. My God. But they got their ducks in a row. They got all the promise. They got all the hype. They had Hard Knocks. They had all the hype around them. This is the next big thing. It's the all-star team. And Aaron Rodgers' reign lasted basically the length of the national anthem. 4 plays and no completions, and his tenure as the Jets quarterback in 2023 is over. He took a hit, tore an Achilles, and he's done.
The therapeutic half-life of ayahuasca lasted longer than that motherfucker's Achilles did in that game.
It's true. I'm obviously the Jets fans. The Jets fans had a lot of hope and promise, and man, it's got to suck to be a Jets fan. I mean,
well, you could say a Giants fan too.
It's true.
All of New York, really. What have you really done? I mean, honestly, what have you done since the fucking Titanic couldn't fucking make it there? What does it tell you, New York?
I mean, I hear from a reliable source that probably the best entertainment is the Rockettes. They still have those.
Hey,
but
it's the only fucking thing in New York. New York City. I don't give a good goddamn. Let me tell you something. I think the Titanic got it right. That goddamn ship sank just the way every other fucking thing associated with that shit city sank.
Well, for those of you that was looking for a Titanic reference on the Sportscast, go ahead and mark that on your bingo card.
It's like, oh my God, it's like the Green Bay free spot. Yeah.
Here's the thing about this. You learn some facts, you hear some comedy, but every now and then you do learn some legit history. But for that game, I mean, I don't really know what to think of that because we've already seen the Zach Wilson experience and it wasn't good. Mm-hmm. But the fact that people are still saying the Jets have a chance, you just need a quarterback. Like, literally, Josh Allen played possibly the worst. The only quarterback that played worse than Josh Allen in the state of New York was Daniel Jones. And that bar's pretty low. I mean, when you go 29 of 41 for 236, just 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks, and your quarterback turned the ball over himself 4 times, that's not good. That's not usually a good recipe for a winning game. And it took all of that and overtime for Zach Wilson to secure the win. I don't know what to say. Like, I guess maybe the Jets got lucky.
Win that game because of Zach Wilson.
No, they won it because of Josh Allen.
Well, there was a different Wilson that I think was doing a couple things that may have fucking pulled a touchdown grab out of his ass that won that fucking game. You're welcome, State of Ohio.
Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest. There's not a whole lot of the shining star, really, on the Jets right now is not Zach Wilson, and it's not Garrett Wilson. It's Breece Hall. He was the one that stole that show. 10 yards, 10 attempts, 127 yards. I mean, he was the workhorse right there. And when you have something like that, that tells me you're trying to keep it out of Zach Wilson's hands.
Brees Hall's all right, but he did fumble. And also, Garrett Wilson took the touchdown, not Brees Hall. So, by that rationale, I'd say fuck Brees Hall. But I am American and I love football.
Well, if Brees Hall wouldn't have had that kind of production, you take those 10 carries away, that's just more time in Zach Wilson's hands.
Let's call it what it is. The New York Jets are like my credit score. They are going down the fucking drain real fast.
Oh boy. All right. And for folks that are new to the podcast, this is about where the show goes off the rails.
This is what happens at fucking 12:04 Eastern time.
Yes.
I'd say standard or daylight savings, but I think that shit is a fucking dinosaur at this point. Woo! And all my gosh. Are awake.
All right. So as far as the breaking news, we already kind of touched on some of that stuff. Deontay Johnson for the Steelers is out. J.K. Dobbins again is out with an Achilles. I don't know that he's ever going to come back. Like his days, I think his best days are behind him, which I don't even know when those days were, but I think they're behind him.
You know what? Let's call it what it is, right? We've all seen the movie Troy. You know who the fucking real villain is? Orlando Bloom. That motherfucker took out J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Rodgers in 1 week. That son of a bitch! Holy shit! God bless you, Orlando Bloom. And you fucked Katy Perry! Orlando Bloom! Here's to you, buddy. You know what? Fuck me. Here's to you, buddy. Cheers.
I will say, for those of you keeping score, if you want to go ahead and add an Orlando Bloom or a Katy Perry square on your bingo card, feel free.
But anyway, Orlando Bloom on your bingo card, you fucking won. You got like $100 gift card to Joanne Fabrics, motherfucker. Cash that shit in right right now. You win.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, moving on. As we announced, J.K. Dobbins out with an Achilles, Aaron Rodgers out with an Achilles. Was there any other injuries that you can think of?
Christian Watson from your beloved fucking Packers ain't playing this week.
He was out with a hamstring in the preseason. I keep thinking there's.
Do you know why? Because he's on his fucking period, and God help him if he had to play this week.
I feel.
You know, contrary to popular opinion, it's actually it's actually every 28 days. It's not every 30. It's actually every 28 days. Fuck, this is going to be a good edit next year.
Yeah. All right.
Ooh, we're there. I ate shellfish today, so this is going to be pretty fucking nasty.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, we'll move on before Todd falls off his chair. Anyway, we had week one fantasy stud of the week in the Commissioner Cup League. Tua was not eligible because he was not started in the league, but the options are the Dallas defense, Tyreek Hill, or Brandon Ayuk. Honestly, I don't know how Brandon Ayuk didn't get any votes, but I guess it's kind of when you're matched up against Dallas and for the dominant defense they had, I guess that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, they did sort of crawl up inside of fucking Danny Dimes cold and fucking take a nap.
Well, and for the defense to put up that many points, I mean that typically never happens. That's a fantasy week there. But moving on, fantasy duds. The fantasy duds. There's too many to name here. But we got Antonio Gibson, Drake London, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow. As we put Kadarius Toney and Dallas Goedert are dishonorable mentions because of their goose eggs. However, I didn't start him. I had Deion Jackson. I think he would have ran away with this because I think he had -3 point something. But as of right now, I don't know why Antonio Gibson isn't leading that, because last time I checked,
it's a
negative.
Tie. It's a tie with Joe Burrow. Well,
I mean,
you and I, we can pretty much decide this tiebreaker. We're like the Len Goodman of the ball line.
It's true. Let's just say what it is. It's simple math, and last time I checked, negative numbers are lower than 0. So even if Joe Burrow got you 3 points and Drake London and T. Higgins got 0, Antonio Gibson actually hurt your team. He gave you negative points. I don't know how it's not a runaway. I don't know who in this league doesn't understand that, but it should not have been that close.
Antonio Gibson, fuck you!
Okay, well put. But, all right, so with that being said, we got week 2 coming up. It starts tomorrow. We got the Vikings and the Eagles on Thursday night at Pennsylvania, Philadelphia.
Lincoln Financial Park, or what?
Yes.
Lincoln Park,
Yeah.
or Lincoln Park.
Yeah, sure. So I obviously think the Vikings have. I think the Vikings have taken a little bit of a step back from where they're going to be last year, but I still think they're a pretty solid team. It's hard not to be when you have Justin Jefferson, but you also got rid of Dalvin Cook. You also got rid of Dalvin Cook, though, and I don't know how well Madison plays the lead role. But, I mean, the Eagles are still a tough defense. But what do you think? How do you see this going?
I'm not going to lie to you. I actually have token bit peso points, or as you call them, dollars, on Philadelphia covering the spread. That being said, it's hard to discount Kirk Cousins in the primetime lights. Kirk Cousins is a bad shut your mouth.
What's the current line right now? Is it 6.5 still?
6.5, yeah. Eagles favored by 6.5.
I don't know.
Home too,
I could see that.
Man.
I could see that being like a 24-20 game, or like a 28-23 game, something like that. Like, I think it's going to be close. I could see Philadelphia pulling out.
3 would fit that over under too.
It's true. Yeah.
Over under 49.5 for you public school.
What do you think? I've seen a lot of traffic on the under for that game.
Under. Can I tell you why in the under? Because it's Thursday night football, Jared.
Does that still apply this year?
Take the under. Listen, it doesn't matter if it's now. It doesn't matter if it's 2046 and AI is running this whole fucking thing. You always. Let me tell you something. There's 3 certainties in this world. Taxes, and the under on T and F.
Is it
always take the under on Thursday night football?
Is it in that order?
No. It's actually under on Thursday night football is number 1. Then death, because that's just the morbid sons of bitches we are.
Fair enough.
And then I forgot what the other one was.
Well, let's run through the overall standings here, and we'll kind of take our shots and see who we predict are going to be leading at the end of the first quarter, 4 or 5 weeks into the season. We'll start with the AFC. We got the AFC East: Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills. Who do you think is leading at the end of the first quarter?
Dolphins.
You love that. I think the Bills. I think they're going to figure it out. There's too much talent there to not figure it out.
Do you know why?
I think the Bills.
Do you know why I know that's not going to happen?
Do tell.
Because half of this podcast is all in on Josh Allen. And you know what? Not all luck is good luck.
It's true.
Bad luck accounts for at least 65%.
It's true.
Dolphins. Go Dolphins. Bet enough.
All right. AFC North. Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals.
This is where it's getting interesting. Browns.
I'll give it to you. I'll say the Browns.
What?
I'll say the Browns.
Are you kidding?
I'll say the Browns. Because I'll put it this way. I've not seen anything that gives me any kind of confidence in the other three. So
you know why? Because Kenny Pickett has hands smaller than Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson has nobody to fucking help him except himself. And fucking Joe Burrow is over there jerking off to fucking videos of Olivia Dunn in a goddamn swimsuit video.
I mean, I don't know how you know all that, but I'll take it at face value.
You got the NFC fucking Norris division on lock. I've got the AFC fucking Central on. Trust me, it's always AFC Central. Fucking
all right.
North.
So moving on, AFC South. I think we're going to agree here. Jags, Titans, Texans, Colts.
Jaguars.
Yep, I was going to say Jaguars. AFC West. AFC West. Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos.
This is tough. It's hard to bet against the NFC. NFC? Jared, you're drunk. The NFL poster boy, Chiefs.
I'm going to say Chargers.
Herbert is not it. It's the Chiefs.
Hey, I didn't say for the whole season. I think they can be leading after 4 or 5 weeks. Mahomes gets hot. Mahomes gets hot at the end when it counts. That's when Herbert chokes. I'm going Chargers.
Chiefs.
NFC East, I think we're going to agree on this one probably. Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Giants. I think we can agree who's not going to be at the top. But who do you think is going to be at the top?
You know, I wrote into this podcast on a goddamn bald eagle. And I'm going to leave it on a bald eagle. That bald eagle's name, Jerry. Last name, Jones. Cowboys.
Yeah. With a defense like that, I mean, defense wins championships.
Parsons touched me in a place that I can't even show you on a doll. Cowboys.
Oh, allegedly.
He did it. Fuck that guy.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I will say Dallas as well. With a defense like that, they stand to be proven wrong. NFC North, Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears.
We've already discussed this, and you should know my answer. Lions.
No, it's not the Bears. It's not the Bears.
Lions. 120 fucking %. The Lions.
I'll say the Lions.
You goddamn
I'll give you the Lions because I think Green Bay may be hot at some point, but I don't think they're going to be able to put a streak together. I think they're going to struggle. So I think it'll be the Lions.
Lions.
NFC South, Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers.
Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Saints as well.
Carl.
West, we got the Rams, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks. Don't you even say the Cardinals. Don't you even do it.
How much fucking bourbon do you think I've had tonight, Jared?
Quite a bit.
Touche. To vote against. Wait, what division were you in?
NFC West.
Niners.
Yep, I'm going to say the Niners as well.
CMC, baby. Are you kidding me? Big Cock Brock? They don't call him Big. Wait, no, they don't call him Average Cock Brock. They call him Big Cock Brock, baby. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian Mother, Family Show McCaffrey.
Oh boy! All right, well,
that's actually a nice little intro. I think I would add that later.
My God, we need to end this. That'll wrap up the first episode here of season 2 on the Fifth Quarter Sportscast. Download, rate, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you want to interact with us, catch us on all the various socials. at 5th Q Sportscast. If you want to follow Todd on his OnlyFans, go ahead. I mean, trust me.
My calluses are hot.
Do it at your own risk. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, we'll catch you guys here in the next episode. We'll break down some week 2 action, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
A ranger's house is the forest. A sailor's house is the sea. With a whiskey glass and a hooker's ass is home, sweet home for me.